Have you ever felt? Are you listening? Damn.
A short update today, guys. So what was happening on the market yesterday after some consolidation? We've seen this drop in the price for like, I don't know, $200 or something like that in both exchanges. Then a little bit of the sideways trading again, and one more drop. After that, it was actually a huge rise, like $250, and actually we are showing some quite strength at those hours, but currently we are going down again. So the thing is, a lot of people were considering the Bitcoin Cash hard fork, and in fact there is some coincidence in terms of the drop before that and the rise just at the time when the hard fork nearly happened. So it's not clear whether there is a real correlation between these two things, and I wouldn't really try to unpuzzle this, because you see there's no reason. There's no need to know what's the reason, basically, while we know what is happening with the price, because this is our major concern. And like whatever will happen with Bitcoin Cash, it still will have eventually a very minor effect long term. So the thing is, now we need to decide whether we buy expecting it to go higher, or whether shall we wait or even sell if the price will go much lower from the current state. In my opinion, it is the same as before. I was waiting for $5,000 or even lower yesterday, and see we touched $5,200. So probably even on the Coinbase, right? So we probably will continue to do that, although like going downwards, although this movement upwards gives a little hope of the reversal. But two things: first, the volume on this like two candles wasn't that high comparing it to this volume, and second, this upward movement should play out much faster, like within maybe even a few hours, at least one day. We should see one more huge move towards like 5,800 or 6,000 even, and then that will be a confirmation of the reversal that was like a sort of a temporary bottom and so on. But if it would not happen, then the bullish momentum will be lost, and technically we actually made again, we didn't break this like crucial level before, which happened like 5,550, and we bounced off of that downwards. And also we didn't make a higher high, but we made a lower low, and for Bitfinex we made the lower high actually. So technically all the progression is still bearish, and we can make even like it's a descending channel. So again, if this will not play out to the higher high, or at least higher low after that, then I wouldn't be positive on the price within next days or even weeks. So again, I would expect $5,000 or lower. And actually, I was listening some other podcasts and YouTube channels, and look through the Twitter. A lot of the TA analysts are saying that we are in the very bearish situation. The bottom was broken, like support was broken, and we are going possibly to $4,000, $3,000 or something like that. And this is how well, it affects a lot to people in this market, and they're thinking, oh, that is really like a hell situation, we are crashing and we need to sell. And I understand how the various sentiments is spreading. However, I wouldn't be that pessimistic, although again, there is a difference to be bearish and being short, as Tom Way said. So I'm sort of in a short position, but I'm not bearish long term, and well, technically actually I'm not shorting it, so I'm just expecting to go down. So maybe if I would be more riskier, if I would be riskier, I would go short, but I don't. Another thing which I was going to mention here is if we look at the longer time scale, like one week time scale, and compare the current situation with the situation on the market in 2014-2015, then we will see that somewhere around here we had the RSI, which was much lower than the current RSI level. So, and this was the absolute bottom, like $150, $160, and it means that if we'll just base our assumption, our conclusions on RSI behavior, then since we didn't go that low, then we have a room to fall, and probably the bottom will be like 3,800, maybe 3,500, something like that. However, first of all, this is a very sharp, like, shadow of this weekly candle, and I wouldn't be surprised if we'll just make a very sharp drop and then return back. Finally, also, this is a different market in general, so this sort of bearish indicator shouldn't be considered that seriously, although it should be considered, but not to like 100% correct data, the correct indicator. Also, if we look even more carefully and switch to monthly chart, then what we'll see is that although this period of the growth is claimed to be like super sharp and amazing to $20,000, etc., it should go lower from that, technically much lower, and experience like an awful bear market. But however, comparing to the previous 2013 year, you see this amazingly huge green candle, because if you look at the logarithmic scale, this is sort of a relative change, is more reliable to look at. So this green candle, which was much sharper than these candles, and in that case the drop actually which would happen after that, and also this change, you see it's also much sharper than this. So these two changes should lead to a significantly deeper drop eventually, and will prolongate it bear correction, bear market correction, then the current one. And also, if we'll like translate this to a current situation to 2014-15, I would think that it should look like this roughly. So in principle, in that case, we need to go to bullish territory already from now on, in my opinion. And the thing is, probably we may still see this small tick, but this is like where we are now. This is like 5,400 or something like that, and this small tick would go like to 5,000, maybe 400, 5,000, sorry, so $4,500 as the minimum, and then from that point it should reverse and will be very sharp change in the price. So this is my standpoint on what would happen, what potentially could happen with the price, although of course it's my personal opinion, not a financial advice. Technically, guys, expecting drop even lower, maybe to 4,500 or a little bit higher than that, but I will absolutely bullish after $5,000, below $5,000, and continue to collect the long orders, maybe even with a little bit of leverage if we'll break 4,800, because I think it's the great opportunity to get profits with a low risk. Although a lot of the overall market is very bearish, and I understand the fear, uncertainty and doubt which is all over the place. Anyway, I hope you are calm. I hope you understand the opportunity and you are not trading for the whole your whole portfolio and saving some fiat to the case of emergency, and like also the sharp drop to be able to buy in the extreme deep. So far, I hope to see you tomorrow, the next update. Wish you a safe trading, and see you guys. Goodbye.